So again, good morning, everyone. Everyone from Metro Manila, from Ilocos, from Batangas, Kawit, Cavite. We also have participants from Cebu, Iloilo. We also have some from Davao. So hello, everyone. We will start now our National Career Jumpstart session. So this is the first for 2022. I'm really excited. We have huge companies from the Philippines. And I saw around 1,500 registrations for this stream. So right now we are more than 100. So we're going to be waiting for everyone else, but we will start. So basically, we have everyone, we have different companies. This is the financial institution. And so that includes banks as well, which we will have a presenter later. And of course, we have the retail and manufacturing sector. All right. But first, I'd like to tell everyone that these companies have open job opportunities which you can apply to. So just feel free to go to Prospel or ph.prospel.com and you could start applying for their open jobs. And you could also browse some of their contents. Okay, I think it's good that we should start now. Okay, so are you guys ready? Everyone just looks so good. Okay. All right. So I think we will start with Grace, since Grace was the first one to arrive here. Okay. So Grace, can you please introduce yourself and then what your organization does? You're on mute, Grace.
Sorry, you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So good morning, everyone. It is an honor to be invited here. So let me introduce myself. My name is Grace de Guzman. So I lead the talent acquisition team for Northern Trust in Manila and other client center locations in Asia Pacific, such as Hong Kong, Singapore, and Beijing. So I joined Northern Trust in December 2019. So it was like few months before the lockdown, but at least I still got the chance to be onboarded physically in the office. So I worked for several financial institutions and audit firm in the past, both on local and regional capacity, especially for Asia Pacific. So to provide you a brief background about Northern Trust, it is a US-based financial services company. So our headquarters is actually in Chicago, and it caters to corporations and high net worth individuals. So it is considered as one of the largest and oldest banking institution in the US. Old meaning we have been around globally for the past 130 years, so serving the top sophisticated clients. So we are nearly 20,000 partners around the globe, and we call our our employees as partners, regardless of the job rank. So in Manila, the service center has been established in 2014 as NOSAI, or Northern Operating Services Asia Incorporated. So we started with less than 300 partners on its first year, and it grew exponentially over the years. So currently we're at 1,200 and counting, and the profiles that we are hiring are accounting practitioners for most roles, but we also hire for business-related courses, graduates. So thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Grace, and welcome. I believe it's your first time to join us. So I hope you can
That's
still
right.
join us in the future. Okay, now let's move on to
Definitely.
John.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Very well.
Okay, good. Because I tried a number of different connections for my audio. I've been having problems, so I had to go back to the basic, which is wired. But anyway, good morning. Good morning once again. My name is John Bondok, and I'm the Talent Acquisition Associate Manager for Coca-Cola Beverages Philippines. I've been with the company for a little over 2 years now. I actually joined March of 2020. So a few days. No, I only had to report in the office a few days before the national lockdown. So compared to Grace, I had a very limited time in the office, so I wasn't able to meet a lot of people. But over the past 2 years, I'm glad that I was able to meet more than what I've been expecting. Okay, so Coca-Cola Beverages Philippines, I think everyone knows our products now. Um, we've been in the Philippines for more than, well, 110 years this year. So we are considered the first market in Asia 110 years ago, it was the Philippines that where they brought Coca-Cola first, no, in Asia. So we are the largest beverage organization here in the Philippines as well. So in terms of we have a different entity here, the Coca-Cola company. So what's the difference between the two of us? We are the one who manufactures or bottles all our products and sells and distributes the products here in the Philippines. No? While the Coca-Cola company, they're the owner of the brand. So we have the license to use the brand. So we manufacture and sell them here in the Philippines. What else? Anything else? I think somehow more or less that's how I can describe who we are as an organization. So we have maybe I can add more. Sorry,
Go ahead, John.
50 more than 50 sales and distribution centers. I hope you're not hearing my daughter singing in the background. Um, and then we also have 20 plants nationwide. So we have a huge number of people in our chain. We have 70,000 Filipinos that we work with on a daily basis. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Jan. Is it just me, or when I was hearing Jan, I was thinking of drinking a Coke right now. Like growing up with it and all. So thank you, Jan. Now let's move on to Melissa.
Hi everyone, good morning, and glad to be back with John. No, I think we were both panelists also last August or November in the last session. So yeah, just to introduce myself, my name is Melissa no, or Mel from Universal Robina Corporation. We are one of the largest food and beverage manufacturing companies here in the Philippines with an array of products, as you can see in my background. No? So everything from a lot of the homegrown brands no, of the local Filipinos right now, C2, Great Taste Coffee, Piatos, Roller Coaster, Chippy, etc. So a lot of us I know have been eating this ever since we were kids. No, a lot of the candidates when I talk to them, this is really one of their interests no, in joining the company. It's because they have been a consumer of our product ever since they were children or ever since their childhood. So yeah, the company, just to give an overview, we do have our company size is around 5,000 employees as of today. We do have 17 manufacturing plants no, across the entire Philippines. And we have actually also grown internationally already in the past how many years as well. So we're also present in a lot of Southeast Asian countries as well, like Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand. And just recently, we also acquired Munchies Malaysia, which is one of their leading snack manufacturing companies as well in Malaysia. So yeah, I think that's a bit about who we are as a company. I myself, parang a lot of us just joined not 2 years ago kasi ako din, I just joined URC November 2019. So ako naman mga 3 months bago ako nag-work from home yung setup. So I joined November and then the lockdown happened in March. I have been handling a lot of the vacancies, no, specifically in engineering. Right now, I'm handling commercial no, with marketing and joint ventures no, with the Nissins, the Vitasoy, because these are also part of our product portfolio for those who don't know. And we do have a lot of opportunities. I hope I could share it a bit more later. But just to give you an overview, it's really on the internship and the management training program that we have for this year. So I'd be more than willing to share a bit more about the details later on. But thank you again, Aiza, and everyone else for having me this morning.
Thank you, Melissa. Grabe, no? It made me realize 3 years na pala tayong naka-pandemic.
Oo. Sad,
Grabe.
no?
Grabe na to. Sana naman
Yeah.
next month, Nina. We will see.
Slowly,
Thank you.
medyo bumabalik naman na, di ba? Pero,
Yeah, level 1 na tayo. So let's hope for the best. Ayan. All right, Andy, you're here. Welcome.
Yes,
And
hello.
yeah, can you introduce yourself now?
Thank you so much, Aiza. So, hello everyone. Good morning. I am Andy, the HR staffing specialist of Monde Nissin. I've been in different industries now, so more on real estate and manufacturing companies so far that mainly focus on hiring and staffing. So, about Monde Nissin. So Monde Nissin is a global food and beverage company that has been in the industry for more than 40 years already. Our brands include Lucky Mia, Monde, Nissin, Voice, Bingo, MY Sandwich, Mill, Mamacitas, and many more. Then we're currently expanding internationally as well. We have subsidiaries and partnerships in Thailand, Indonesia, Japan, Australia, and UK. That's it for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. Oh my God, nakakagutom yung introduction nila. Do you agree? 171 participants. Oo, lalo na yung background ni Melissa. Or nakakauhaw din yung sito dyan. So thank you, everyone. Okay, now we will move on to the next question because I could see some questions already popping in. All right, so our next question, we will start with, okay, let's start with Andy again. All right. So Andy, what exactly does the ideal fresh graduate look like for you? Or what would you say would be the greatest quality of a fresh grad that they could have?
Okay, thank you again, Isa. Okay, so given that they're a fresh graduate, I'm not expecting too much from them, like relevant experiences or knowledge on the actual job itself, given that syempre nag-pandemic and I believe no most students talaga medyo nahihirapan sila to look for an internship, no? More on online lang talaga siya. Most of them doing a research, etc. So on that area, we're not very strict naman. We usually check the capabilities and personality of the applicant to see if they're suitable for the position. Since they're a fresh graduate, we want to see how adaptable they are, especially that they'll be exposed to a new work environment and their ability to work in a team. For example, if they're applying for a planning specialist, they should have some qualities no, of a planning specialist. For example, the problem solving skills to strategize what would be the best thing to do on that situation. Then, since they will be presenting a lot, a good communication skills would be a great advantage. So yeah, those are the examples of the ideal fresh graduate to me. Thank you.
See, okay. So Andy, you mentioned problem solving skills, communication skills, but you also mentioned about personality. Oo, can you give up sample of, or parang ano ba tong mga personality na hinahanap ni Monde Nissin?
Okay, so aside from that, we're also looking for someone who is really driven on the position itself, someone who's really passionate in it, and someone who's adaptable no, to change, especially that nothing is certain no, ngayong pandemic. So it keeps on changing, you know, from let's say on-site work, then now we're doing work from home. So yeah, that's very important to us.
Andy. Okay.
Thank
You
you.
guys, you should type 1 if you guys are driven. Okay. So we will see if pwede kayo kay Monde Nissin. Thank you so much. Okay. What about you, Melissa? Okay. So ano ba sa'yo ang ideal fresh grad?
Yeah, I think Andy really summarized it quite well. We're looking for mostly similar in terms of qualifications or personalities. Yung pinaka siguro important for us is the agility or the flexibility. Because on top of what Andy said, we are in a state right now where everything is quite uncertain. So yun, apart from the work arrangements, sometimes the roles may also change because of the pandemic or biglang in URC, just to share for everyone's reference, we're also in the process of going agile, which is a completely different way of working. So for those who are interested, you can research more about agile ways of working. It's mostly practiced in, I think, Western countries, but it's slowly being adapted here in the Philippines as well. A few companies, I think, who have adapted to it already are Globe Telecom, Union Bank, if I'm not mistaken, also Philippine 7 or 7-Eleven, us, we're one of those as well. So we really need people who are very agile and very flexible in terms of nature. At fresh graduate level, we do understand that experience. Of course, you guys don't have that at all yet, on top of your internship experience and your thesis and all that. So we're also looking mostly on personality and character development, your potential. So things like how well can you talk to me in an interview, and relay your thoughts. If I ask you questions about your thesis or about your organizational activities. Now, how well can you share those to me, your KPIs back then? So definitely presentation is a factor, especially since we're doing work from home right now, and a lot of the times we're just facing the screen. No? So you have to, if I may say, ibang level din kasi ang kailangan pag presenting in a work from home setup. And being tech savvy enough to screen share, to mute, unmute, what if magka-problem sa audio, things like that. So really the presentability, not just what do you call that? What do you call that? Presentability itself, no? Be physically prepared for the interview, but also prepared in the sense na you read your own resume, no? Hindi yung if I ask you something you don't know what I'm saying or you forgot the details about it. A big factor for me as well is also the confidence. How are you able to project yourself in such a way that you know what you're talking about? Because we as recruiters, we talk to hundreds and hundreds of people. And we more or less already know if you're faking it just to make it. So the sincerity is also very important. The real, I guess the sincerity to really want to be part of the company is very important to us. And I think the final for me is the genuine interest also to be part of the company. So did you research about the company? You know, if I ask you, are you familiar with URC's products? I don't want you mentioning my competitor's products, right? That's the ultimate no for me. So yeah, and a lot of people then say, for example, they're very particular with company values. So have you researched about our company values? Is that aligned with your personal values? No, is it something that you really see yourself? Is this a company that you really see yourself joining in the future, or is there some sort of mismatch here in terms of priorities? So for me, I think those are the most important. No? The confidence, presentation-wise, the research for a company, and overall, I guess, preparedness talaga. Preparedness for the interview.
Thank you, Melissa. Parang nakaka-excite tuloy magpa-interview ngayon, no? Parang kailangan super prepared with the presentation. So parang you really have to learn. You have to be a tech savvy. Kasi during my time, so wag na tayo mag-usap ng age, pero hindi pa kailangan maging tech savvy. It's only this time. Okay. So yeah, Melissa mentioned that they have a lot of openings and you should know about their company, diba, before going to the interview. So with Prospel PH, you could also search about their content. So you could see their work-life balance there. They have graduate stories, day in the life stories. So you could browse that and that will help you. All right. So now, yan, I'm very excited for Miss Grace's answer to this question. Ano ba ang ideal fresh grad kay Northern Trust? Please go ahead, Grace.
Sure. So before I start every interview, and I share this with the recruitment team. So let's hire for character and train for skills. So that's the basic mantra in recruitment, right? Regardless of the job level that you're hiring for. But for fresh graduates, I always look on the personal, non-cognitive trait, which is what they call GRIT, G-R-I-T. So I mean the scholastic records, of course, would count, but the true grit will make you stay in the organization. So regardless of the challenges and shortcomings that happen to you personally and within the workplace, you're still able to rise above because of the commitment that you have signed up for. So it could be a huge word for a fresh graduate, but at least during the interview, you may want to emphasize on how you got through your thesis, how you got through the pandemic. Probably you may want to research about STAR technique on how to answer interviews. So it goes a long way when you do a lot of research before you go into an interview. So for Northern Trust, we're really looking for someone who's really that committed. So passion is there, it could be there, but the commitment really is what we're looking for. So whenever we do interviews, we use targeted selection kasi in the recruitment process. So as a fresh graduate, probably you can look into some online courses on how to ace interviews. And then therefore that would be the structured way on how you'd be able to present yourself to the interviewers. No? So probably just always go to the bottom line on how you were able to resolve a certain problem. So the recruiters would have a clear grasp of how you rise above with a certain situation, even if you were a fresh grad. So there.
Right, grabe. Guys, confidence. So, very true. So, even though you're a fresh grad, you should be confident with yourself kasi it really shows. Oo, kung nginig-nginig ka and all, parang medyo mahirap yan. So, practice. Okay, thank you, Grace. Yan. For Coca-Cola naman, let's hear it from John.
All right. Thank you, Isa. I think the ladies mentioned everything that generally we are looking for in a fresh graduate. But maybe I can just highlight on a few things. In Coke, in CCBPI, we have certain skills that we continue to develop as core skills. So automatically, we're going to be looking at that also for fresh grads. But of course, similar to what for example, Melissa mentioned earlier, that we're not looking for someone with experience because given the challenges that we have, we want someone. We're not looking for an we're looking at, of course, we're looking at the internship experience, but we're looking at what they've learned. Because, for example, in CCBPI, we look at communication skills, learning agility, achievement, project management, analytical skills, being able to work with a team, collaborative, leadership, and resilience. These are the core skills that we normally we actually continue to develop in our organization. So we will look at those core skills as well with all our applicants, not just for fresh grads, but it's very important that they have those things, those skill sets, and that's why as a student you need to make sure that you try to develop this in different ways. You can either develop them in your organization or even in your small class group or whatever. Because at the end of the day, if you're not able to develop this, it will be very difficult for you to enter any jobs that you want to go to. No. Plus, of course, the confidence. We're not looking for mayabang, diba? The confidence has to be at the right level. If you have less confidence, mahiyain, iisipin namin kagad, hindi bagay ito sa Coke, because iba yung energy level ng Coke employees or Coke Tigers, no? Ganun din pag mayabang, hindi rin pwede, di ba? So confidence is very important. How you present yourself is very important as well. I've had a number of candidates, that I interviewed over the past few years, who I would ask to go home and go back to us because they're not wearing the proper attire, for an interview. I don't want my hiring managers telling me, John, what's the problem? Nagpadala ka sa akin ng interviewer, naka-t-shirt lang, di ba? I didn't want that to happen. So, and I still do that, no? Especially even during, the virtual interviews that we conduct. I would give them 5 minutes. Go, pick up the best shirt that you have in your closet and put them on. I need you to look good when you do your interview, because if you look good, you will feel good and you will do good during the interview. So very important yun for me. So overall, I think aside from those things that they've mentioned earlier on, I really want these people to, the fresh grads to be prepared for that interview. Because once you are prepared for that interview, you will do everything that you need to do to meet your objective. And what should be your objective every time you go to a job interview? Get the job. That should be your main objective. Get the job offer at the end of the day. Don't have a mindset na, sige, let's try it out. Maybe it will work. If not, okay, let's move on to another company. No, that is a wrong mindset. Every time you go to a job interview, you should have a mindset of getting the job at the end of the day. So that's it.
Grabe, ang saya, ang daming tips, guys, 'di ba? I'm sure you feel so happy that you are attending here. So shout out to our 230 plus attendees right now. Yeah, these are actually small tips, but actually they matter, diba? So it's really a good pat on the back to parang be reminded with all these things that actually matters. All right. So thank you guys. So we need to move on to the next questions. Okay. So I already asked about the ideal fresh grads. So now we move on. What if there are two ideal and strong candidates already, but you only have to pick one? And basically they have the same charisma and all. They have, like same qualities that are the same level on the paper. So the question is, what is going to be the factor that would make you pick this candidate over the other candidate? Yeah. So exciting questions. So now let's start with Melissa.
Sa akin talaga yung mahirap. Okay, sige. Yeah, I actually read through the question when you sent it over, no, and I was thinking about this. If well, we are presented with this type of scenario every now and then. No, we have two very strong candidates. I wouldn't say they're exactly alike, but there's always pros and cons. So this candidate has this, but this candidate has this. No. And at the end of the day, it's really also in terms of what I mentioned a while ago. No? So soft skills wise, we'll go back to that, back to basic styles. So who has better communication skills? Who has better presentation skills also? Who has better overall confidence? In other words, who would be a better fit into yours? No? Because knowledge, no, they always say, and of course everyone agrees, you can learn that on the job. We can train you, we can coach you, we can mentor you. But if you're not a fit in terms of personality, if, for example, FMCG is a bit too fast for you, or you realize you want to go into another industry, that's something that we cannot control already. It's really something that we can't control on our end. So we always go back to your personality and your character. Which do we think is a better fit in terms of the company? Which at the end of the day, I know not a lot of you want to hear it now because it's out of your control already. But minsan it comes to that point, to be very transparent. It's not that we don't like you as a candidate. We really do like you. In fact, in my case, when I really like a candidate, but this person wasn't chosen for this position, she or he is always at the back of my mind. And once there's another available position, I will recommend again. No, it's always like that. But if it's at this particular vacancy, and it's really a tight competition between the two, we really look at the culture fit with the company. So which one do we think will really thrive and contribute more to the organization? Which one do we think will be able also to drive well more with the managers? So of course, the hiring manager will have a say with this. Sino yung mas ka-vibe niya? Sino yung mas tingin niya, mas, alam mo yun, who will I get along with more between the two? Because yun naman talaga din yung important. On top of the role, work culture and environment is also very important. You have to be able to like your manager because that's 90% of what makes you stay in a company, the working relationships with the people that you work with. So for me, that's what I would say with your very difficult question, Aisa. It's really about the culture fit and the soft skills between the two.
Yeah. Thank you, Melissa, for answering that tough questions. Yeah, so it's culture fit talaga. So, yeah, and which my mind parang went back to what John also mentioned a while ago na parang iba yung energy dito. Yeah. So dapat parang you should also fit. Yeah. And since I'm talking about that, I think it's time for John to answer the tough question. So go ahead, John.
All right. I think I'd like to highlight that we are not just hiring for skills. No. If there are two candidates who are we consider as ideal candidates who, as you mentioned, Isa earlier, no, was the same qualities, so same qualifications, same background. We would now look at the character, if it fits the company culture, if it fits the the team's culture, the team's personality, because at the end of the day, even if you're the number one, let's say for example, number one um, board top notcher or licensed passer, no, um, if you don't if you don't like their personality, if it's not aligned to what we uphold to, then it wouldn't work with us, di ba? And it won't work also with you because yun pa lang talagang magkakaroon ng clash of personality. So talagang we really look at the personality 70% and then 30% the technical skills. Now, confidence parehas, sige. Technical skills parehas, sige. So talagang personality, yung fit niya dun sa grupo, di ba? I normally ask the hiring managers when they ask me these types of questions. Who do you think is more aligned to where you want to bring this person? You know, long term, because we all know that a lot of us would normally go to a company because this will be a bridge to where we want to go. Very seldom very seldom yung nowadays na gusto nilang pumunta sa company mo because they want to retire there. Very seldom yun. No? But they have plans. They have plans. If they have plans, then we ask kung ano yung alignment on with our plans for the position, for the function. Now, kung walang plans, if the person is not sure about where they want to go, let's say dalawa sila, the other one is sure as to where they want to go, and we can be a bridge for that, then we consider that as a number one candidate. And if the second one doesn't have any plans or doesn't know where to go, hindi clear sa kanya what she or he wants, then maybe we'd get the first one who knows where he wants to go. Kasi may plano siya, di ba? And we want to be part of that in achieving their plans, their aspirations. So I hope that somehow answers the question.
Ayan. So I'm really learning here. What about you guys? Not top. Type 1, if you guys are learning a lot or learning at least a thing or two. Ayan, ang dami nang sumasagot. So that's really good. Okay, now let's hear the answer of Andy.
Okay, thank you so much, Aiza. So it's quite difficult nga, no, if we have two strong candidates. So of course, if they have the same credentials, it is related din not to my answer a while ago. So we check the capabilities of the applicant to see if they can handle the role that will be given to them. Okay, so there are some qualities needed. No? Like for example, nga, the one that I've mentioned a while ago, if they're applying for planning specialist, they should have at least problem solving skills, presentation skills, etc. Yeah. So that is something that should be seen during the interviews. Then aside from that, we also check the attitude of the employees to see how, let's say, how driven they are or how interested they are in the position and then the company that they are applying for. Then plus one, then not to what other panelists mentioned, no, kung culture fit nga ba yung employees, because each company or sometimes pati departments no has their own culture talaga. So dito makikita na parang okay, so is this person ba can work with this person dito sa team na to. Like for example, itong team na to, like meron silang mga strong personalities. So itong person ba na to kaya niyang maka-jive with this person kasi baka like ma-intimidate siya or what. So we look for the same profile as them. So more on profiling talaga siya and then checking if that person is culture fit. Then dun kami dun namin ma-identify sino yung kukunin namin for the role. So this is something that we need to align talaga with the department leads kung ano yung hinahanap nila.
Yan. Thank you so much, Andy. Yan, I learned something again about Monde Nissin. Ayan, but definitely not the least. Okay, let's hear it from Grace.
Okay, well, I think they were able to tick off the box. Ay lahat na nasabi nila. But then, probably I would want to make it more difficult. So what if both person are also both culture fit, both has good motivational fit, both have very realistic plans. Paano kung pareho silang ganun? So what NT does is that we create positions for them. No, nilalaban namin siya sa department. Like both of these candidates are really good. So you won't afford not to make an offer with this good candidate as well. So probably we can let this person be interviewed for another team. So that's how we do it in Northern Trust. Mainly because we have a lot of opportunities, we have a lot of vacancies. So we can't afford to lose someone, not just because someone is better, but if that person was able to pass the interviews and we're able to assess them well, then definitely we talk to the business and tell them that we really need to get this person on board. So that's how we do it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Grace. It's really true that the most important asset of the company are the people. So that I think is correlated with that. Ayan. Thank you so much. We have gone through that tough questions. So now we move on naman with our current situation now that it's still a level 1 in this pandemic. So my first question with that is how is your company coping up with the current situation, the lockdowns, this pandemic, and making sure that your employees are well taken care of? So now we will start with Jan naman.
All right. For if you remember in 2020, it wasn't just the pandemic that really hit us, badly. Early 2020, Taal volcano erupted, and the eruption basically affected our operations in our um, Santa Rosa and Canlubang plants, which is we consider them as the largest facilities, no, combined, of course. But it did stop us from focusing on what is important, which is people. So our leaders has been very much focused on people, whether within our organization or outside. So with that, for example, outside, before the pandemic, we had this Balik Pinas program. So Balik Pinas was initially targeted for OFWs who were displaced, for different reasons, or who wanted to retire and go back to the Philippines. Um, we invited them to set up their own business as Coca-Cola partners. No? But during the pandemic, we revised the program, and we decided to name it Bangon Pilipinas Project, which now invites anyone, who wants to have an opportunity to start a livelihood as Coke resellers or wholesalers. No? So that's one. For the frontliners, and I'm referring to the medical frontliners, no, we did forget, no, to help them out, no. We have, our budget, the marketing budget for 2020, was diverted to, providing support to our medical frontliners. So, as you can imagine, no, especially, I'm sure Andy and Melissa can relate to this. Iba yung marketing natin sa consumer goods, 'di ba? Um, ibang-iba siya. So talagang you spend a lot of money. So for 2020 medyo nakaano kami. Sarado yung aming marketing activities, no? We focus on providing support. Now, for internally, up until this day, we continue to support our associates, no, by providing the best care that we can provide them. So we have improved our total rewards, um, not just in terms of the benefits package, but we also ramped up our training and development program by partnering with different international learning organizations. When we launched our Life at Coke program, when we launched our Coca-Cola University. So we have also doubled our employee engagement activities. So recognition of our small wins and big wins continued during the pandemic. What else? Um, we continue to develop people. We continue to move people around. We continue to identify what matters, the work that matters most, so that we can have a focused and targeted um, achievement by the end of the year. So marami, no? Marami kaming ginawa at ginagawa during the pandemic. So hopefully soon we'll be able to see each other face to face, no? Very limited pa rin kasi yung people that I have interacted with in the office, but yeah, I guess that answered the question, because I think knowing that we are we are a global organization, we've continued to tap in our partners so that we can continue to make the difference that we want to make.
Thank you, John. Oo, ang seryoso ng topic na 'to pala ngayon ko lang na-realize. Oo. So to make it lighter, I have a follow-up question, John. So do you give out Coke?
Do we give out free Coke?
Oo.
I think more on water because it's
Yeah,
more,
the
yeah,
Wilkins, right? That's
especially,
your
yeah,
brand.
Wilkins and Viva, no? We have Wilkins Pure. So, not just during the pandemic, no, but I mean, during the
Mm.
pandemic, tinamaan din tayo ng maraming bagyo, di ba? So, especially last year, during the Typhoon Odette, no, which badly hit the Visayas region. So, marami kaming dineploy na water stations,
Water.
even yung mga portable cleaning purifiers, water purifiers, no? So marami. But yung soft drink siguro more on hindi kasing dami ng water
Dami.
ng water. But sa office, if you if you visit our office, yon medyo may libreng may libreng Coke na
OMG, guys. Ayan, punta na kayo doon. May libreng Coke.
in a
Thank
bottle
you,
pa.
John.
Mas
O,
masarap yung
diba?
nasa bote, di ba? So yun.
Oh, may nag-heart na. Si Phoebe. Alright. Thank you, Sean. Okay. So now, okay. What about Monde Nissin? What about Andy? Ayan. Can you tell us, ayan, yung parang how did you guys cope up with this current situation that we have now?
Okay, all right. So in Monde Nissin kasi, of course, the health and safety of our employees is our main priority. That's why we have a lot of initiatives. Okay, so yun na nga, yung isa doon is the minimizing the number of employees reporting in the office or on site. So yun na papasok si work from home setup. So actually, until now, we're doing work from home setup because the idea here is if you can do your job virtually naman online, well, there won't be any problem, di ba? So parang we have the flexibility if you want to report or not. And then aside from that, of course, we have some employees, especially on the production, who are required to report. So for that, we have the daily health monitoring naman so that we know if they're in good health or if they have, let's say, any symptoms, di ba? Because we're very strict on that. So for example, meron lang silang cough and colds, di na namin silang inaalaw na pumasok. We want them to take a rest na kagad. We also provide shuttle services so that they won't be exposed to any persons na po pwedeng affect sa health nila. And then meron din kaming mga daily health check process in the office and the plant. So meron kaming mga chambers. So para malinis sila before they go inside, especially now we're on the food business, diba? So we really take that seriously. And then we also have other health and safety measures. So we provide masks every time na papasok sila applicant, or I mean sila employees. We also provide vitamins, alcohol, etc. We also maintain the social distancing, virtual meetings. Then we highly encourage everyone to avoid crowded places. Then we also have guidelines on common areas. So just in case din na one of our employees, let's say magkaroon ng COVID-19. So what we do about it naman is, of course, we let them rest. As in, no work talaga at all for them to recover fast. And then we provide parang a COVID-19 kit. So we in that kit, kompleto siya. And then meron siya mga medicine, biscuits, products of Monde Nissin, and others. So meron din kami let's say, mga thermometer, mga yung sa fingers. Sorry, I forgot anong tawag doon. But everything that you might need for you to easily recover. And then we also have our nurse, clinic nurse, to monitor you. Like for example, kamusta ka na ba ngayon? Are there any help needed ba? Then yun siya. So parang we really take this seriously, yung pandemic. And we want our employees talaga na makapag if ever na mag-work sila talaga sa amin, parang they're in good condition. So if they're not, they're open naman na to take a risk. So yeah, that's how we work during the pandemic. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Andy. So yan, health is wealth, guys. So super true, especially talaga na naramdaman natin yan talaga when we were got hit with this virus. Okay. So, yep. So let's move on to Grace.
Sure. So for lack of a better term, I may say that the first 2 to 3 months of the pandemic has been so excruciating. No one has been prepared for that. I have never imagined something as huge as that would change the workplace in a snap of a finger. So while it was challenging, everyone took their plate and collaborated to make things work on a virtual setup. So our HR team, globally and locally, came up with guidelines, protocols, and have strongly liaised with the business or the operations to make sure that the existing employees are well taken care of. So this includes mental health programs, webinars on how to cope up with pandemic stress. We have also made sure to revisit the health insurance providers to be able to accommodate concerns, especially if it is COVID related. So the effort to reach out to employees as often as possible, not just to make sure that they're doing their daily deliverables, but also to make sure that they are on the right disposition, not just as an end employee, but as an individual. So we provide our employees with frequent updates on the return to office timeline for them to be able to plan ahead as well. So Northern Trust is actually known for its good work environment, and I think we are able to maintain that even during the hardest times. It was a tough journey, but I think we're at the last part of it. And hopefully by May or June, we would be able to return to office. Not everyone. I think it would take us some time for us to be able to see each other face to face, all in one go. But at least it's moving. It's forward looking. There are timelines that are being set, and we just make sure that the partners who will come back to the office, um, they're prepared physically, emotionally as well. So now we are on a volunteering system. So we have started our wave zero in March just to check if it's feasible to be in the office already. But as far as recruitment is concerned, all interviews are being done virtually still. We may come up with um, a work around there, for certain roles that would need client facing if they need to come to the office and do the interviews there. So there's no any concrete guidelines yet, but we're getting there. Yeah, thank you.
Ayan. Thank you so much, Grace. Okay. So what about Melissa?
Yeah, I think it's quite similar naman to what most of the other companies have been doing. So first top of mind is the work from home arrangement. So ever since March 2020, we've been doing work from home. Of course, it differs now depending on your department and your manager on what arrangement has been made for your respective role or your position. But generally, it's really work from home now. We've had people who probably just went in once or twice in the past 2 years now that we've already been on lockdown. And that what's actually very good as well is URC, at least for the head office, will be already adapting to a permanent hybrid setup, even after the pandemic is over. So it really depends on your boss, because for me, now at least in HR, we only probably go in around once or twice a month. And then if you want to, or if you have to, that's the only time you can go in. But if you don't have any events or if you don't have anything naman required to do in the office, we're okay to work from home. So gano'n na kami ka-flexible. I've also posted in the Prospel career page of URC a video of our newly renovated office. So we just renovated our office last June 2021 because we've adapted a co-working space type of setup already. So now, should you want to go to URC, of course, may respective areas pa rin. So for example, this is for HR, this is for marketing, this is for sales. But we don't have our own tables anymore. So talagang you go in, you reserve a table. If you have a car, you reserve parking. And then that's how we will operate already permanently. So this is also to really minimize. I think 50% na lang talaga yung maximum capacity at all times at URC office. And it's really been proven naman that people can work from home. So that's why we're going with that route. And the management has been very supportive of that already. So I think that's one of the biggest adjustments that we really have provided to our employees. Secondly, may mga pag-goodie bags din naman kami. No? So syempre tumataba tayo over the pandemic. During the start, 2020, we really gave COVID kits. So masks, alcohol, face shields, uso pa yung face shields, and all that. And then we would give during Christmas or during our 65th anniversary last year. We literally gave a box, like a box of URC goodies. So it's, I guess, the simple appreciation then from the management that, during these uncertain times, hard work has been acknowledged naman, and they were very grateful for that. So we do these little things. We also have a very, very active engagement platform called Your Fit, so You Are Fit, wherein we give employees free access to mental, physical, and financial wellness and literacy programs. So for physical, syempre, dito pumapasok we have activities like Zumba, yoga, or other physical activities talaga to get moving. Just not to sit on the laptop in front of the laptop the whole day. So we have free exercise sessions, and just recently we've partnered with Rebel. Not sure if a lot of you are familiar with that, but Rebel is a fitness platform. Yeah, we partnered with them, so we have exclusive classes with some of their coaches. I think it happens once a week or once every 2 weeks. We also have a lot of other mental assistance programs. So for consultations, we cover you a certain number of appointments for free. We also have a lot of webinars then, similar to Northern Trust for, let's say, anxiety, stress management. We even have parenting in the new normal. Kasi to be honest, nakakaloka, I'm working and I also have to take care of my kid who's doing online school right beside me. So things like that. How do we manage those types of things? We also have cooking classes. We have plantito and plantita classes. So really, what else can we do outside of, the usual work to really get our minds off of work naman every now and then. And then for financial literacy, we do have different partnership talks with Robinsons Bank or some insurance partners on how can we invest, what's the proper way to invest, how can we diversify our portfolio. And we even had a series of talk before about how to be URC resellers. So do you want to sell URC products? Do you want to sell URC agro? So we also have agro products kasi. Do you also want to resell URC bread sa Baker John Harry? So a lot of opportunities in that aspect. So the engagement platform really has improved a lot since the pandemic started. And we actually even have our own Facebook group for all employees where we share every now and then various topics na parang wala lang, pang share lang. And nakakatuwa kasi minsan yung leadership team pa mismo yung nagpo-post. So you also get to learn about their experiences, their preferences, and things like that. We also have, similar to Monde, we actually created our own health app. So every day we're required to monitor and send in our daily health monitoring. Simply put, just put in if you're feeling any symptoms, where are you reporting to today? Are you on site, at home, and what's your temperature? So if wala ka namang symptoms or no fever, that's okay. But once we've been alerted that you have a fever or you are experiencing symptoms, that alerts right away your HR business partner and your manager. Para at least from that point on, natutukan ka na namin, and it doesn't get to the point that you're already critical or severe, you're at the hospital, and we didn't even know about any of these symptoms. So that's also something that we're still doing as of today. But these are a lot of the things that I mentioned are mostly for work from home, or work head office based employees. So what we've done also for those who are required to report on site more often is we do provide shuttle services as well. We also did provide, at least noong 2020, nung talagang height of the pandemic, we also provided lodging services for those in the manufacturing plants. So to lessen exposure, if you just want to stay in the plants, we would give them care kits with toothbrush, toothpaste, towels, and things like that. And then they could stay at the plant. Like we made a specific lodging area talaga for them. So, yun, I think top of mind, no, yun yung mga naisip ko that we've been doing or that we have done in the past 2 years. And I think we've really done the best naman that we could since the pandemic started.
Ayan. Thank you, Melissa. Parang nakikinig na ako ng onboarding sa URC. So,
Oo,
ayan
that's
guys.
what na-run through ko sa HR orientation.
So, familiar na kayo kay Melissa if in case na mag-URC kayo. Ayan. All right. Thank you. So, okay. So, before we move on to the Q&A, because we have more than 12 questions already that I have here on my